I have two readings this morning. The first is by Robert Louis Stevenson. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. And the second one by Warren Buffett. Someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree long ago. And so end the readings.
Building our partnerships. Raising the light. Picture a Saturday morning drive. A program featuring local businesses is on the radio. That was my habit 25 years ago. Local errands interfaced with business news. I was living in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and the host of the program was delighted to tell his listeners about Musco Lighting. Their business had been to set up and provide lights for unlighted football and baseball stadiums. They noticed the value of games being held at night, even if the field was unlit, and they did something about it. They set up a company to fill this need, not knowing if it would be a great need or small. They guessed correctly. Their program of raising the light was designed for 3 days or less: setup, game day, teardown, and if there was a pinch, either theirs or the customers, they could be in and out in a day and a half. Musco had a system set up to light only the field. You might notice how effectively this system shines the light where needed. Their spillage control system prevented their lights from shining into the windows of neighboring houses. Many schools and municipalities were calling to them. One recent job had been at Wrigley Field, where their attention to spillage control was applauded by the citizens of Wrigleyville. No light in their homes. Things were going well for Musco Lighting. Now, I could go on with this story, and I was impressed, amazed, and thought, what an ingenious system these people have put together. But I'd like to jump ahead a few years. Musco had decided to pick up on LED lights in their infancy. They favored green options. Anything green is good, they said. And their TLC for LED stations cut their clients' power bill by 75%. Recently, Musco began installing permanent lights. One of their recent projects is at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. And they have installed permanent lights at Pridgeon Stadium in Houston, Texas. The point of this little lighting demonstration is that a single light cannot light a stadium, but a set of lights, when raised together, can provide a miracle on the ball field. I'm a light bulb. Now, many human activities require light if the work being done is to be done well. Did you hear about the factory workers, a man and a woman who wanted to take the day off? They both had projects they really wished they could do. The woman said, "I think I can make this happen." And the man replied, "How so?" And she said, "Watch." She climbed up a ladder, attached herself to a hook in the ceiling, and hung upside down. The man called the boss in, and he walked in, looked up, and said, "What are you doing? Can't you see? I'm a light bulb." Her boss said, "I think you've been working too hard. Why don't you take the day off?" She unhooked herself, climbed down the ladder, and walked out the door. The man started to follow her, and the boss said, "Hey, where are you going?" He said, "I'm going too. I can't do my work in the dark." Any man or woman Look at this now. Woo. Now, one light carries significant power, whether it's electronic or visible in the life of a person. We can look at people and find some who appear to be full of light. I have long admired Mahatma Gandhi, a prophet, seer, and advocate for many, many years. But Gandhi was, despite his achievements, not full of himself. He saw his limitations. And he said, I claim to be an average man of less than average ability. I have not the shadow of a doubt that any man or woman can achieve what I have if he or she would make the same effort and cultivate the same hope, and faith. Gandhi's success came because he saw the need for togetherness. Many people decided to partner with him. In an Eknath comment on Gandhi, he wrote, "It was not the famous or the rich or the powerful who would change the course of history. If the future is to differ from the past, if we are to leave a peaceful and healthy earth for our children, it will be the ordinary men and women who will do it. Not by becoming extraordinary, but by discovering that our greatest strength lies not in how much we differ from each other, but in how very much, we are the same." With that in mind, Gandhi recognized that two together could, at the very least, support each other. That 2,000 weighed a heavy influence on local leaders, and in some situations required 200,000 or 2 million or more to arise in defense of justice and equity, compassion and peace. That is what moved Gandhi. Laying the foundation. Now, Musco Lighting often decides to set lights on a pole in partnership. Not just one, partnering lights. And some of their poles had 9 lights, others had 13, but those lights were arranged for maximum and efficient lighting. They called it TLC, and that means total lighting control, as well as tender loving care, I think. But that approach does not work with people. Partnerships, human partnerships, require a starting point. A common spirit is necessary if there is to be a chance for success. As an example, we can look at a marriage. Anyone who is engaged to another should sense a spirit that unites them and serves as their bond. This dual spirit held by two will differ from their individual spirits. It is as if two become three when they marry, each of them and them, with each being drawn to the mysterious spirit that has called them to make them a them. But this becomes more interesting when partnerships are formed. Partnerships between many people. In partnerships, the spirit is shaped and shared together. It is often more obvious and well-defined than the shared mysterious spirit that motivates a marriage. There are fewer fluttery, carried-away hearts in community partnerships. The emphasis is more practical. There is a vision, there is a mission, there is something being done in unison. There is a shared spirit, be it the spirit of love, the spirit of justice, spirit of protection, spirit of togetherness. It is evident at the beginning. This shared spirit lays the foundation to and for partnerships. Gandhi's spirit was motivated toward justice, and hundreds of thousands joined together. Framing the building. I suspect many of you recognize that Musco lighting has been today's metaphor. Each of their lights can be equivocated with the light people carry within them. Now, there may be times in your life when the use of your light might seem, to borrow Gandhi's words, less than average. And oh, wouldn't it be nice to move from the blurry, blotchy, unfocused system on the right to a bright, shiny light, focused where it is needed. It is common for people to question themselves. Some think others can do things better than they can. And amazingly, sometimes once this is thought, it turns out to become true. But there's no reason to follow such a path. It is equally possible to notice what is shared with others, for we here truly are very much the same. When we share our commonalities with each other, and when they become an approach we wish to follow, even the subconscious mind knows what we are doing, and that subconscious affirms the approach. It becomes an element within that says, yes, we have a common purpose. Yes, we can do this together. Eventually it becomes possible to live naturally, to live easily, fully grounded and fully taking advantage of the benefits being found in the partnership. In other words, it is possible to pay a conscientious attention to the commonalities as a partnership is being formed. It is possible to pay a conscientious attention to the commonalities as the partnership is being formed. And this is important because this attention continues along with the maintenance of a partnership, something we will talk about next week. But it must be there at the beginning if it is to have any chance for success later on. Setting an attention and consciously setting this attention together opens the door to an engaged and fulfilling partnership. Let me give you an example. I have seen situations in churches like ours where people have been so grounded in all that it is that their faith is built upon, that they are able to say to an individual, if such an individual says something that's a little bit out of line, inconsiderate of others, difficult, hard to hear, perhaps. Look, John, think about our covenant. Think about who we are. There are ways we can do this better. And this has often worked. It works to change the tenor from one that becomes more difficult, where hurts are built upon hurts and moved from one person to the other, to a common shared vision accessible to all when needed. What lights do we share here? At Northlake, UU, there is a common spirit amongst us. This spirit includes the principles and purposes foundational to Unitarian Universalism. This spirit includes the Golden Rule, available in many faiths of the world. At least I know of my hope for its presence here. This spirit acknowledges and honors Northlake's covenant of right relationship, which we plan to modify and hopefully improve next fall. And This spirit includes the things you and you and you and you and all of you hold most dear, for that is where commonalities are found too. Sometimes we just need a reminder of these common interests. And there is currently a project in our religious education program for the younger people where children are asked about things that are dear to their heart and that help them persevere. Next week, there will be a well on this stage. It will collect the hearts of the children that have been filled out with the things that are near and dear to them. Your order of service has a heart in it. There are additional hearts on a table in the entryway. As you look at your heart, we ask, who, what feeds your spirit and allows you to persevere? Or who, what fills your heart and lets you share your gifts with others? When you have an answer, please write it on your heart, on your paper heart, not this one here, and hold it in your attention here. Let it become a reminder, something that settles into your subconscious, perhaps, that you will carry around with you. All of the hearts, the children's hearts, and yours too, will be placed on the wall in the foyer next week. They will then be put up on a collaborative display so all can see what all of us are all about. And my friends, there is much that we have in common. In summary, each of you has a special light within you. Each of you has, some for today and some for many years, come to Northlake for worship support and with hopes for a better life. That is not going to change. What you have found here is a partnership of people who need friends and companions on their journey through life. This is why our spiritual center is critical to our survival. And it's why we pay a conscientious attention to all that holds us together. Who, what feeds your spirit and allows you to persevere? Who, what fills your heart and lets you share your gifts with others? May the light in your heart find light in the hearts of those around you. Namaste.